All right, YouTube, what is going on? It is Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers, back again with another post-game reaction, and we are back with another win, a two-game win streak, 2-1 on the season. Raiders going down. Listen, man, we are looking, that game we looked pretty good. What do you want me to say? Before we get into this video fully, if you are a Steelers fan or you enjoy NFL content in general, if you end up enjoying this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are growing every day. I believe we're at 158 subscribers now. We're just growing, but let's talk about this game. Let's just get right into it. The Steelers are back. Let me get a gunshot for that. The Steelers are back. Kenny Pickett is back. Matt Canada, he's not back yet. I'm not gonna say that. I know. Obviously, last game if you can still hear it in my voice, I apologize. But last game, I was actually at the game with the Browns, and I know that game had quite the attention drawn by Steelers Nation. I know. Obviously, there was the Fire Canada chants. I may or may not have been a part of that. So that was a big discussion. Of course, Matt Canada and just being mid. That's been the discussion all week. And it's been the discussion for years, honestly. Like that's why to me it's just it's so old now. But like that's been the discussion for years. Is Matt Canada just as bad? And like I don't know. I guess now maybe we're gonna do something about it now. Maybe since it's his last year, he's gonna be really under a microscope. I don't fucking know. But we do know Matt Canada just hasn't been having a good time. And 2 weeks into the season, we were calling for his head. There was the Fire Canada chance. Fire Canada chance in week 2, no context, seems crazy. But I promise you guys, this is like years of frustration that was let out last week. It wasn't just like 2 games. It wasn't just like, oh, we're playing bad week 2. Like, let's boo Canada. Like, no, this has been coming for a while. Pause. But we're here now. So, week 3. Week 3, it started out, shout out to Blitzberg, shout out to all these guys for providing these videos. It started out not too hot with the Raiders, I believe, on their first drive. On 4th and inches even, I hate when they play the audio, on 4th and inches even, doing a play action, getting us deep. Patrick Peterson, this Patrick Peterson play right here was not the most encouraging to see, but, I mean, they got us. This was Davante Adams had quite the day. And really, after this drive, you would have thought the game was gonna go like this. You would have thought that the game was just gonna be a complete slugfest for our defense. But like I've said all year and all off season, while we may be lacking in terms of just like overall depth on the defense, like we have the playmakers in TJ who had another sack, maybe even 2 sacks tonight. We have the playmakers in him and Minka, who we'll talk about a little later, and Highsmith. We have those kind of playmakers and players who can get turnovers for us. That us giving up 1,000,000 yards to Davante Adams all day, like, hey man, it didn't get us today. It didn't bite us today. And so this stuff like this was happening all game to us. Davante Adams is, one of the best receivers. Our secondary is a little sus, every now and then. But if you also see Levi Wallace in coverage, overall, Levi Wallace didn't have the greatest game, but he had 2 interceptions. Let's get a gunshot. He had 2 interceptions. And so if that can happen, we'll take I shouldn't say we'll take the blown coverage, but it's okay. Like it ends up working out for us. If we look at the stats in general, here we go back to here. 3 interceptions for Jimmy G, threw 300 yards, 28 for 44. 28 for 44, I feel like just off the strength is a pretty good thing for Jimmy G. But because I genuinely feel like the Raiders were able to have success on offense. I mean, if you look at 13 receptions, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, Jacoby Myers 85 yards. After that, it kind of died out. But I felt like they were moving the ball. And so when you see this first play, when you see Davante Adams on 4th and inches, play action deep ball, when you see that happen, you expect the game is just gonna, you expect you're just gonna get blown out. But then that didn't happen. That's not what happened. Something. I believe we had maybe a few whatchamacallit, maybe 2 or 3 3 and outs. Maybe actually it might have only been 1. This might have been our second drive of the game because there's still 6 minutes left. I believe the second drive of the game. Kenny Pickett gets it, drops back, finds a Calvin Austin running deep, and his absolute bomb to Calvin Austin. Absolute bomb from Kenny Pickett. We're so back. Kenny Pickett is so back. I know the talks have been they haven't been the most positive with Kenny. To be honest, obviously I wasn't really making I had the post game reaction, but I wasn't really available to make videos about like the trending topics, and so I know there's been a lot of Kenny discussion, and honestly, man, I've talked about this with like real life friends. Like honestly, Kenny Pickett, because of the whole Pitt thing, like I love Kenny Pickett regardless. However, if he's gonna be missing throws, specific missing throws, like things you can't blame Matt Canada for. And maybe the offensive line isn't playing the best. We'll get to that too. But things you can't blame Matt Canada for, if he's doing that, man, I don't know. Like it's such a conflict of interest with Kenny and the Steelers. Like if he's gonna be doing that, maybe we send him somewhere else. However, if he's gonna not be missing throws, and we're gonna be hitting bombs like this, hitting Calvin Austin in stride, and we're gonna be able to use Calvin Austin. Shout out to Matt Canada. I don't know. Like this has been the first play all year where we've been able to actually use Calvin Austin. Like this is crazy. And then all that to say, if he's gonna continue making passes like this, if he's gonna continue to be on his mark, I know. Week 1 wasn't the best. Week 2 wasn't the best. But week 3, this was definitely his best game all year. Definitely our best game all year as a team overall. And it looked like to me, Kenny was he was playing like last season. There was still some room for growth, still some room for improvement, still a little bit of missed throws here and there for Kenny. But we're definitely looking better than what we were, and I am feeling better about Kenny than what I was. And you know what's hilarious? If you look for like maybe 3 or 4 videos like from this one on the channel when we were in like the off season and stuff, and it was just all the preseason highlights because 3-0 in the preseason. When you look at those videos, I was really hyping Kenny up. I love Kenny, but I gotta be honest, man, and I love the Steelers so much. It's just it doesn't even equate. I had to be honest. Kenny Pickett wasn't playing well. So I was honest then, and I'll be honest when he's playing well. Kenny Pickett is playing well. Kenny Pickett played fantastic. Kenny Pickett outplayed Jimmy G. Kenny Pickett outplayed Derek Carr when he was here. Prayers for Derek Carr, though, because he got hurt. But yeah, I mean, Kenny and the Raiders, he just does it, man. He just has it. What else what other plays do we got? Once again, I apologize for my voice. I can like literally hear it myself. This was a pretty funny play right here. Shout out to Warren Sharp for this video. So this was a Kenny Pickett run. Or it was like a scramble, right? That ended up getting called back. You can see the flag, and the video is just not going to play. Are we just going to make me look crazy right now, live on the fly? No editing, live on the fly. Nice little refresh, and then we're back. Turn off the audio. Anyway, as you can see, Kenny Pickett, he's on the run, and then George Pickens going for the block, and he just, I don't know what this is, man. George Pickens going for the block, trying to get Robert Spillane even. George Pickens, all the effort in the world, it did not end up working as Robert Spillane just kind of runs him over. But, I mean, you take away the context, take away the flag, take away the fact that that's the sideline, take away the fact that Kenny ran out of room, take away the fact, all of that. He slowed Robert Spillane down for, a second and a half there. And so, hey, shout out to George Pickens. This is, to me, W effort. This, to me, just shows why George Pickens is the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. So shout out to George Pickens. But I just thought that was funny. Next. Now we got to talk about this touchdown. And I want to talk about this touchdown, not only for the touchdown itself, as the audio just loves to play, man. Not only for the touchdown itself, but we have some other tweets up about the drive itself. This drive right here, getting this Patrick Freiermuth touchdown. This drive right here was our best drive of the season, man. We moved the ball all the way down the field, and we just punched it in. Jaylen Warren, as you can see, Jaylen Warren is on the field in this play. Do I still have it up? I still do have it up. As you can see, Jaylen Warren is on the field for this play as well. What that means, I don't know. But Jaylen Warren is there, and Jaylen Warren played pretty solid today. Najee Harris played pretty solid today, despite our line not being the greatest lines of all time. There was some push in the run game department. There was some push every now and then. But still, overall, I feel like Kenny is running a lot. I feel like we're running for our lives a lot. I feel like Najee Harris specifically just somehow, some way seems to just attract defenders to him. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But that's just how it goes. So I would like to see, our line play better overall. But with that said, Jaylen Warren, I mentioned him being in on this play and him being in on the last play. Jaylen Warren's here on the field. He played well today. We were able to move the ball with him with some passes, with some runs, short passes to like Allen Robinson, to runs with Naj, or passes to George Pickens, and it all concluded with this play action pass touchdown to Patrick Freiermuth. Gunshot right there. And to me, like, once again, just a beautiful pass. And this right here is an example of what things were supposed to be like in the preseason, what we were presented in the preseason, what we were presented in training camp. And for the first 2 weeks, it wasn't living up to that. It was like, we said we were going to get you a boat, and we ended up getting you a toilet. Like, it's like, what's happening right now. That's how it felt. But now, we're getting closer to the boat. We're on like a dinghy or something. We're on like a cooler, but it floats, something like that. 23 points, man. 23 points. Gunshot for 23 points out of the Steelers. Fuck out of here. We're the best. Let's just looking at the stats too. I mentioned I wanted to show this Jalen Warren block right here, just because I was talking about Jalen Warren as well in that touchdown. Like this right here was a huge block. It was able to buy Kenny some more time to throw this pass, throw the touchdown, right? And so Calvin Austin, big touchdown. But yeah, let's go to the stats. And you can see Najee Harris 19 carries for 65 yards. Jalen Warren 8 carries for 29 yards. Kenny Pickett 3 rushes for 11 yards. Overall, rush for 100 yards. I don't know. I don't want to do the exact math on that. But Naj and Jalen Warren to me had all right games. We were able to run the ball a little bit. George Pickens 75 yards. Let's get a gunshot for that. George Pickens 4 receptions though. Let's get more to George Pickens. I understand we played a great game. I understand great game. I don't know. Do you guys say great game? Do you guys ever notice the Steelers fans that are just never happy? By the way, like there may be some Steelers fans after this video that are like so what? We still suck. 2 touchdowns. The Dolphins just scored 70 points today. Like that's always gonna happen. And so if this wasn't enough for you, I apologize. But I think we played all right, and so I won't complain too much. But George Pickens, we should have 10 targets. With 6 targets, we should have 10 targets. We should 100 million targets. Because you guys can quote me on this one. I genuinely think like Pickens is going to be legit, like a really, really, really good wide receiver. In fact, I'm going to just say it just because, it's here. Watching Davante Adams play, I was like, man, one day George Pickens is going to be like that. One day George Pickens is going to be getting bracketed coverage. Like one day he's going to have the safety and the corner both on him, just paying attention to him the whole time, and still be able to put up 13 receptions for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns, One day George Pickens will get there, and I swear. But we won't be able to get there. All that to say, we won't be able to get there if we're getting 6 targets a game. We up it. We're in the right direction, though. We're definitely heading the right direction, and we won today, and it worked, so cool. But, let's up it, up it. Now, I mean, we could look at other Allen Robinson. I thought Allen Robinson had a key third down catch to pretty much seal the game for us. Jalen Warren 23 receiving yards is what I was saying about the like him catching passes. 23 receiving yards among the 29 rushing yards. It's like 60 yards. Banger from Jalen Warren. Minka Fitzpatrick had a bunch of tackles, 11 total tackles. Quan Alexander flying around out there. Cole Holcomb, I don't have the play up, but if you guys saw it, Cole Holcomb like literally speared somebody. Cole Holcomb was flying around out there. Patrick Peterson, I have him in the losers category. To be honest, the losers category, I don't want to be too negative, but Patrick Peterson didn't look the best. He did get an interception, though, so we're vibing. But Patrick Peterson didn't look the best. Mark Robinson played a little bit. Joey Porter Jr. played, and he even checked in on Davante Adams a little bit. So that was cool to see. TJ Watt, 2 sacks, 2 fumbles, just everything. TJ Watt is so good. Same thing with Minka Fitzpatrick. We talked about him and his tackles. Minka's so good. What's his name? Keanu Benton had a huge sack at the end of the game. I believe DeMarvin Leal maybe too. Or I'm sorry, Montravis Adams I think had like an almost sack that was crazy. And then Keanu Benton had a sack at the end of the game that was pretty clutch. DeMarvin Leal got a penalty at the end of the game that was kind of like it was a penalty, like technically a penalty, and it's like we got to be more disciplined. But really, I mean, the refs were just kind of on us at the end of that game there. I think there was another penalty with Minka, the roughing the passer call that I think was a little, but other than that, I think DeMarvin, I said other than that, DeMarvin Leal, I think played pretty good. KZ, I'm seeing his name out there. I remember seeing him make a tackle. Shout out to them. Really, just an overall solid game played for the defense. I mentioned this earlier in the video. I definitely think our defense has regressed. I definitely think our defense, in terms of like the last, 4 or 5 years, I definitely think that it's like regressed down to maybe the worst it's been. I don't want to say 4 or 5 years and get caught in a killer B era. But from when we've got Minka till now, I think this has been like the worst the defense has been. Maybe I'm tweaking. Maybe that first year with Minka, you count that, but we were flying around out there. But with that said, we have still kept our edge. We have still kept our identity in the splash plays and the sacks. And so we're still able to create opportunities for ourselves. And we're doing our thing. 18 points, that's all you can ask for. Remember, I do not have a YouTube tab up, but I sure can get one. Remember, when they said, "Oh, look at me." Remember when they said, I'm no edits, no edits. Remember, top five receiving core, top five receiving core. That's what they said. Remember, we talked about this 2 months ago. That's what they said 2 months ago. Top five receiving core better than ours. Locked them up. Besides Devontae and Jacoby Myers, locked them up. 18 points. Top five receiving core, 18 points. And now, you know what? I almost forgot to mention this. Now we are going to talk about this. What was that bullshit at the end of the game, Josh McDaniels? What the hell was... Oh, actually, you know what? Before we get that, Nick Farbaugh, shout out to him, pretty much confirming what I was saying about like that last drive with the Muth touchdown. We looked really good on this drive, and play action is working. But okay, so the Raiders are in position to tie the game here. It's like 4th and goal, and they're at, I believe, like the 5-yard line, or they're very close, and they decide to kick the field goal to get to 18 points as opposed to trying to score and get a 2-point conversion to tie it. Because the rationale is we kick the field goal, we get the points, and then we get the ball back, we have a chance to score. Because it is a guarantee that we're going to get the ball back. Because the Steelers have Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada. That is what the Raiders were thinking in their brains. That is what Josh McDaniels was thinking in his brain. That is what Davante Adams was thinking. Davante, I know you were thinking, oh, we'll get the ball back. Well, guess what? You didn't. You didn't get the ball back. And Kenny Pickett, I told you guys, he's clutch. We give him one drive, and we got 2 touchdowns today. His first game with 2 touchdowns even. One drive is all we needed, and we got it done. We got the first down. Shut him out. And so Raiders, you guys got to stop sleeping on Kenny Pickett, man. Remember last year when he ended Derek Carr's career there? You guys got to stop sleeping on Kenny Pickett, man. Like, I don't know how many times this has to happen. Remember last season, I believe last season it was against the Colts, and that game was ending kind of similar to where the clock was kind of going down, and they were playing around with they were playing around with their timeouts. I think this is when Mans was brought in as the coach, the old lineman that like wasn't a coach ever. This is a whole last season storyline. But all that to say, I don't know why coaches are like just dumb against us. I don't know why we don't get the respect of going for timeouts and going for touchdowns. Like, I understand we're not, the greatest team in the world, but shit, we got 10 primetime games for a reason, baby. Like, you're playing a real team right now. I understand, sometimes the Raiders, they play, these outlandish teams and maybe nobody's watching. But people are watching this. Steelers fans are watching this. Steelers fans all up in your stadium. You didn't want to shut them up. You didn't want to just go for it. You didn't have any faith in our offense. That's so crazy. And it showed, man. And so Steelers 2-1 on the year. Big W for us. Really, once again, the most positive game we've had this year, the best game we've had this year as an offense. And so I'm taking away nothing but positivity from this. We can continue to be a better offense for sure. Kenny can play better for sure. Naj can play better for sure. Jalen can play better for sure. Our line can play better for sure. Everybody can play better for sure. But we're headed in the right direction. And so we will see what happens throughout the week. We will talk again one day. We will talk again on Wednesday for the actual full-length podcast. But anyways, guys, this has been Zaya from Zaya and the Steelers. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. If you're rocking with Kenny, do all that too. If you're rocking with Mike Tomlin, do all that too. If you're rocking with Matt Canada, good night for you. It's a good night for you. A lot of nights were not very good for Matt Canada fans. Tonight is a good night for Matt Canada fans. Gonna need even better, though. 23 is the new bar. Next week, we got to score 23 or more, because I've literally seen us do it. Boswell, 57-yard field goal tonight. Fantastic game. Presley Harvin, fantastic game. This has been Zaya. See you in the next video.